It's about 7 degrees here in the Highlands, and I'm burning up some old shed wood that the shed had rotted. So I'm just burning it up now. And it got me to thinking about this experiment that I did a couple of years ago, if it was a couple of years ago, about clay pot heaters. Now the idea was to determine whether or not the clay pot heater could actually heat a small room. Now it seems to have caused quite the controversy. The clay pots, these are the original clay pots that I used in that experiment. I'll heat them up again today, not that it really much matters, but here's the point. One of the comments, and many of the comments that I received on that one video, was that a candle can only put out so many BTUs. Absolutely true. No question about that. I'm not even refuting that. This can only put out so much. No guff. The clay pots do not increase the BTUs. Not at all. Never said it did. What the clay pots do is they capture the heat. They capture the heat, store the heat, and radiate the heat. That's it. It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm an old-time bush guy, and I can promise you I've heated rocks up in a fire many, many, many times, and I've placed them with inside a tent, with no floor, mind you. You don't want, yeah. You place them inside the tent, and those rocks radiate the heat back to you. Okay, let's find a rock that's gonna work. This one here. Yeah, this will work fine. Many of these rocks, these ones have been fired already. What that means, I've already heated them up and used them inside my tents and stuff, so they all split. But this particular rock will work good. Now be very mindful when you're heating rocks up inside a fire pit. They can explode because of the water inside the rock, right? So I always like to throw wood on top of that rock just in case. I normally take this when I'm just doing day canoe trips or whatever it might be, right? The thing's amazing. You just pop it open. That's all there is to it. Okay, that's a blind. It's made by Ameristep. It's called the Doghouse blind. Now you'll notice that there's gaps on the floor here. And for this experiment, because I'm going to be heating this up with either the rock or the candles, I'm gonna cover those in. I just blocked up some of the holes at the bottom. There's no insulation to this tent, none whatsoever. If the clay pots heat this thing up, I'll be relatively shocked. I'm not going to be in the tent while this experiment is happening, and the reason being is my body heat will add to it, which I don't want that to happen. It's just going to be the clay pots. I don't have a lot of hope for these to heat up this place because there's no insulation in this in this tent whatsoever. So any thermal energy that's radiating from these pots is probably just going to escape right out to the outside, but we will see how that goes, right? So let's light these candles up. I have 4 tea candles, just tea candles, right? They're all coming to life. Now there's 4 clay pots, all tied together with a nut and bolt. Okay, we'll leave her alone. Okay, it's now 11:50. I just lit the candles under the clay pot inside the shelter. Now, how am I going to measure the temperature change? What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this digital thermometer here. That's the sender. I'll put it inside the tent and I'll be able to read it from outside without affecting anything in the tent. Now, it's 13.1 degrees according to the digital thermometer, and it's roughly 12 to 13 degrees according to my thermometer here, my mercury thermometer. So I'm just verifying that I'm on the same page here within one degree or so. You can see the digital thermometer. It is, well, the sender, the pots are there. The thermometer's sitting roughly at waist height if you're sitting down inside a shelter. Alrighty, time to start. I'm sitting on a piece of styrofoam SM 1 inch. If I was sitting on the ground, yeah, my ass would be wet, and it would be definitely, my heat would be going into the ground because the ground's cold right now. And but with the styrofoam, I'm toasty. It's awesome. So again, I'm just illustrating the reason why I have very little hope whatsoever of a clay pot heater being able to heat an outdoor shelter unless it's insulated. There's the amount of energy radiating from the candles and the pot is far less than the amount of energy leaving the shelter. In other words, like the cold is infiltrating the shelter faster than it can be replaced. Okay, it's now 12:51. That means we've been burning for approximately an hour if the tea candles are still lit. Let's check. I have to look under here. Yep, they're still burning. Okay, so the candles have been burning for an hour. We just verified that. And the time is now 12:52. Let's check the thermostat. And we're looking at the exact same temperature. 13 degrees outside, 13 degrees inside. Just reverse these two. Outdoor is really indoor because that's inside the tent. Indoor is this one here. Regardless, the point being is, so just as I thought, there's not enough heat radiating from the candles. What's this thermostat? What's this thermometer say? Yeah, there's not enough margin of error here. So the bottom line is this. The mercury thermometer is reading 11 degrees. The digital thermometer is reading 13.3 degrees outside. The digital thermometer inside the tent is reading 13.7. That's not even a full, well, it just went to 13.9 degrees. So, you know, the bottom line is the clay pot heater inside a non-insulated tent with tea candles burning clearly only raised it by 0.1 degree. Yeah, that did not work. Okay, I blew the candles out. Now there's absolutely no heat hitting those pots whatsoever. Now, those pots will still be hot. Let's shoot them and see. 85 degrees still. It's 85 degrees in the center of that pot. That is what these pots are about. The candle heats the pots up, the pots radiate the heat, and it retains heat. But please don't use them in any enclosed space. Just don't. There's toxic gases that are released by these candles. Unless you have a ventilated space, do not use them. Okay, I'm gonna end this experiment now. We've determined that the clay pot heaters in a non-insulated enclosure will not heat it, especially with tea candles. There's just not enough heat energy in the candles to raise the temperature of the clay pots where it's going to push the heat out. There's too much cold air infiltrating in. So that's clear. Now what I'm going to do is take this all apart, and the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to grab that red hot rock that's in that fire pit, and we're going to put it in here, and we're going to see how fast the temperature raises, if indeed it does. See, you got to picture it like your heat output has to exceed that of the cold infiltration. It has to. That's where insulation comes in, because the cold infiltration is slowed down, so the heat output that can then increase, right? There's the granite right there. I guarantee you, if it was nighttime, that'd be glowing red. So that is hot, man. That is freaking hot. So I'm going to lift it with a shovel and carry it into the lodge. Let's do a temperature check on this right now. The stone temperature is 486 degrees Celsius. Far cry from the candles, huh? Okay, I put the stone in there like 1 minute ago. It's 117, 118 now, so it was put in at 116. Temperature's already raised by 1 full degree inside that lodge already. The experiment's been going for 30 to 35 minutes. The stone is still inside the lodge. The temperature outside the lodge is this top figure, which is 13.1 degrees, and the inside the lodge it's 21.6 degrees and climbing. So the stone, the granite stone heated up, is clearly working. Clay pot over granite granite all the way. Okay, I've opened up the front door of the lodge and the rear window, and that rock is still way too hot to touch. Well over 300 degrees. Inside the lodge, it's at least 20, even with the window and the door open. The thing is, make sure there's no combustibles inside that tent, such as a tent floor or whatever it might be. It'll melt right through it, guaranteed, and you'll cause a fire. Aside from that, that's the end of this experiment.